Welcome to the Running by Landon Miller podcast. I am your host, Landon Miller. Thank you for joining in and listening to this podcast. This is obviously the first episode of the podcast, and this is something I've toyed around with doing for a long time now. And now that school is online and I have a bunch of extra time, I decided right now would be a great time to kind of just start. Just kind of wanted to use this as a way to just put what's going on up in my head about what I have to say and what I have to think about running, just as a sport in general, motivations behind it, all kinds of stuff. Just kind of wanted to put that out there, and the podcast format is a great way for that. And another reason that I've decided to start as of right now is kind of just to talk about everything that's going on in the track and running world right now, with effectively all of college spring track is done this year. It's just not happening. And even right now, the Olympics and the Olympic trials are kind of up in the air as to whether they're going to happen, depending on what happens with this virus. So kind of the timeline of what happened is, let me introduce myself first for those of you who don't know me. I'm assuming a lot of people listening to this probably know me, but if you don't, this part is for you. My name is Landon Miller. I'm a junior at Indiana Wesleyan. We are a small NAIA college, about 3,000 students, and we are an hour north of Indianapolis. And yeah, we've kind of had a track record since I've been here of placing pretty well within the NAIA. My freshman year we were 14th, sophomore year 2nd, and then this is in cross country, and this past year we were 7th in cross country, and 7th or 8th, I can't remember. We had a poor outing at that national meet, but so I've been blessed to be a part of a great, not only cross country but as well track program that we really just kind of we strive for excellence and kind of just try to be the best in the NAIA. And I've been blessed to be a part of this program. But yeah, now we're just gonna roll into it with what's been happening as of late in the track world. So obviously, as you know, the coronavirus has made its way to the United States, and it's affecting everyone in some way, shape, or form. And how it's affected us here at IWU and me personally is, last week we decided that we were going to go to online classes for the next 2 weeks, which is happening right now. Plus, that's probably going to extend to the rest of the semester, as well as of yesterday, we canceled our track season, which to me was a massive blow. Something that I didn't want to see. I've definitely been struggling with just the whole news and this past week of things getting canceled. Like, I could kind of tell it was trending towards us not having a track season, which was very just kind of depressing almost for me. And it was just kind of rough to process because I'm an optimist, so I was still trying to hold out hope that we would have a track season. And I mean, in the end, it came down to that, just like, due to safety concerns, that just wasn't going to be able to happen. And so for me, that was a really tough blow. That was a tough pill to swallow because running really is my passion. And I've learned through my time here at Indiana Wesleyan that I came in wanting to be a sports announcer. That was my career goal as I came into college. And after my freshman year, the Lord just kind of put on my heart that running is really my passion, and that's what I want to pursue. And I want to be a coach after I graduate, get into the coaching field, and just kind of always be involved in running, because it's just something I believe the Lord has just given me a passion for and a love for. And yeah, so it's a big part of my life. And to lose a season of competition is definitely tough. But so yeah, kind of last Friday, when pretty much the whole NCAA canceled everything, the NAIA chose not to cancel their track season or spring sports at that point. So I kind of went into the weekend with a little bit of hope. I knew we were kind of trending towards not having a track season, but I was still holding out hope that we'd kind of just decide not to cancel and like push it off and wait to see what happens. But then on Monday, early in the morning at about 10, I think the NAIA decided to cancel all spring championships. And because of that, then our administration decided that there was no use in having sports the rest of the semester. And so even though we are getting canceled and getting a semester eligibility back, that is really tough for seniors who just like realistically don't have a way or an option to come back and run another year, whether it be financial, whether it be logistical, whatever it be. They don't have an option to come back again. And so really the indoor national championships, which happened a week and a half ago now, that was their last chance to compete. And if they didn't make that, their last chance to compete was conference, which would have been about a month ago. So that's just I think that's what really hit me hard was the brothers that I have on this team that are seniors that have made so much strides and growth throughout their time here, and they were on the verge of a great senior track season, and seeing them get that opportunity taken away from them is hard as their teammate and as their brother. It's just hard to see them go through that and knowing what they were capable of, but no longer have the chance to accomplish. So that was pretty hard for me. And just not having competition is going to be hard for me. And I'd probably say the next biggest thing that's been the toughest pill for me to swallow is the fact that you just don't have that team atmosphere all spring. Probably the thing I love the most about the track is the team. Just getting to be around all these people that are pouring into each other. They're all working hard, and we're all striving towards different goals. Whether for me it be in the steeplechase, or for someone else it might be the 100-meter dash, or for someone else it might be throwing a shot as far as they can. But even though we're all striving for different goals, we're all putting in the work and working together and encouraging each other to get and accomplish these goals that we've set in our lives. And just to not have these Saturdays with these people or these daily practices with this group of people, that is what really, I think, really got me in my feels, because that's like usually the best part of my day is going to track practice and just getting to see the people, talk to all my friends on the track team, and just like experience that community and experience that love that you get from being in that community and that joy you get from being in that community. That was really tough for me to kind of just process and go through that, and it's going to continue to be tough, because really at this point we've only missed 2 practices. But I mean, after we had the meeting to just decide that we're not going to have a track season, I kind of just left and decided to go on a run on my own, because our coach kind of gave us the options of, hey, you can continue training through essentially, I think it'd be May, and with workouts, train probably not as intensely, but train pretty close to how we would train during track season. Or we could back off, just run easy mileage, kind of stay in shape, and then take a break off in May and then get into cross season. Or we could just take some time off right now and kind of just let things shake out and then get back into it in April and train all the way through till cross. And so I kind of went back to my room, and just who I am as a person is like, I knew I had to go for a run, and I had 10 miles yesterday, and so I just kind of decided I needed to go for a run just to collect my thoughts, just think things through, just really realize what I wanted to do with this season. And that run was just really good for me, just to be able to get out there, get on the roads, just have nothing but my thoughts. And the thing that really came back to me is that, spoiler alert, I decided that I want to continue training through this season. continue to build fitness, and just to continue to grow. And the thing that really pushed me towards this is actually earlier this semester, my coach, Coach Voss, decided to challenge me to set goals not just for this season or next season, but goals like for after college. Whether, because I want to run in some capacity, hopefully competitively after college. And for him, he's kind of just told me that I needed to set some goals. So right now, I'm not just thinking about here and now, but I'm thinking about how I can prepare myself for the future, especially since physiologically, you don't even reach like your peak fitness or peak stage of performance till you're like 25, 26 years old, which is like 2 to 3 years after I would be out of college. So he challenged me to set these goals. So I sat down, set some goals, not even just for my senior year, but for beyond. And I think when I went out for that run, I realized that even though the season's taken away, and I do have goals for this season, I have, in terms of just in running, I have a bigger vision, a bigger picture of what I want to do with running that transcends just this year and next year, but it's something that it's accumulative. It's going to be a goal that I would have to keep building on year after year after year to like kind of climb that mountain to get there. And so that for me, that gave me some motivation. And I just kind of realized, like, I've talked about God has given me this passion for running, and your desire to run on a daily basis might waver. Like some days you might want to run, some days you might not. But I truly believe God gave me this passion for running, so I think that's the thing that's not gonna die. And I just knowing me, like I can't sit around and not train hard, even though there's a possibility of never being able to see the fruits of the training this year. Um, I just know that I want to sit down, I want to grind through it, and just push through the season, even though I know it's going to be mentally tough to get out there every day and grind when there's no tangible destination that I can see in the near future. But still, I have a far off distant goal that I can see farther down the road, and I have to look towards that in order to find my motivation to keep running. And so that really put me in a good spot to really realize that. And I know for sure, because going back on it, coming off my indoor season, I had definitely the best indoor track season, maybe the best season overall I've ever had as a runner. Training, just like I was hitting every workout. I was pretty much crushing every race. I think there's maybe one race this year that I didn't set a PB in, and that was because it was like a sit and kick conference race. Was All American in the 3,000. I set PRs across the board from the 800, the 1200 in the DMR, the open mile, the 3K. I set all those PRs this year, and like I just know I'm in great shape. And the Thursday before the news broke, I had a really good workout. I had my first workout back on barriers, and like I absolutely crushed it. Like, so I just know I'm in this great shape, and that's been the toughest thing to deal with, is like knowing that I'm in this great shape and I'm not going to be able to have a tangible result to point to be like, yeah, I was here this year. I was able to hit this time this year, and so then next year I know what I need to do to step up. Like I'm not going to have that benchmark of fitness from this year. But me and my coach have talked about it, and I'm really hoping that I'll be able to either like get into a road race in sometime early May, late April, or like one crazy, like I was out brainstorming on this run, like ways I could like pull together like a meet or something. Like I know lots of people from across the NAIA, and I ain't afraid to slide into DMs of runners that are faster than me, and be like, hey, you want to come to Indiana Wesleyan, get 5 to 10 guys together and run a time trial steeplechase? Like that's something I know if like we get to the spot with social distancing and quarantining and everything, where like something like that would be acceptable, I'm sure as heck going to try to do that. Um, but yeah, so yeah, right now in this season, I would just say if you're listening to this and you're really struggling, whether you be a senior who's losing their last chance to run as a college athlete, or someone else or a freshman through junior who just has really been having a great season or was looking for a season of redemption, to be able to just hit some goals, get to a place in your fitness where you could feel like you'd have a good stepping off point for going forward. Um, I just really challenge you to not look past this season, um, and to see what you want to accomplish in the future, and then backtrack to see how in this season where you're not going to have competition, but all the time in the world to train and to prepare yourselves, just to see what you can be doing in order to make yourself better, so then when that season in the future comes along, you're going to be more ready than the next guy to go up, to step up and hit those goals that you want to hit, or drop that time, or whatever it may be. Um, Really, just this in this time, I think it's really important to look forward and to set goals in the future, so that you can use those to motivate you now. And I mean, other than that, the biggest, honestly, one of the bigger things that's been getting me through this is just getting back into the Word, just going back and just seeing what God has to say about times like this. Like I know in Jeremiah, he says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans for you to prosper." And I mean, it's hard to hear verses like that right now. It's like, you have plans for me, God. You have plans for me to prosper in this time where everything's just going to crap. But there's something to take. There's something to find in this situation. Our coaches talked about helping out someone who lives near you, who may be like an older person or someone who's immunocompromised, that this disease or this virus could really affect. In a time like this, you can just be out of yourself and see what you can do to help them. Maybe check up on them, or find ways to like go to stores and get the essentials that they need, so then that way they don't have to be out in the store themselves risking contamination and possibly their well-being, in order to, so there you can just find ways to serve, and be out of yourself, and so then you're not just sitting there just thinking about, oh man, this sucks for me. It sucks for everyone else too. And so the best you can do is help someone else, help it suck a little less for someone else, because that's going to bring you joy, and that's going to bring you fulfillment. And you just have to really just like, I mean, I don't have the answers. I'm searching right now. I'm praying. I'm asking God what the reasons are for what's going on. But I mean, I think this is going to be one of those things, like I've noticed just across the board, from teammates, friends, like people are like, this is such a tough time that people are like, we have to go back and rely on God, rely on Him for strength, rely on Him for guidance in this time. And I really think in the future we're going to look back at this portion of history, especially us Christians, and be like, wow, this is a time where we really grew in our faith, because like life wasn't easy. We had to trust in God for Him to help us through and guide us through the situation. So yeah, I mean, that's what I got to say about this whole situation. It's tough, but I think you have to just be able to get the mindset to find the most of what you can get out of it. To either, in my case, I'm just going to try to grind through, keep training, do the best that I can do, and build fitness and look towards the future. And then while I'm doing that, just try to see what God has for me around in this time, just whether it be serving or helping out those around me, or just really have taken some time to dig deep and grow in faith with Him. But yeah, I think this is a once in a lifetime kind of situation, and it's gonna be tough, and that makes it so we just have to rely on God so much more. And in the end, I think we're going to be stronger and better people, more equipped to deal with things like this in the future. And hopefully, as a nation, we're just closer to God, because that's really what we need. We need more people trusting in God and doing His will in their own lives. So that's about going to wrap up this first episode by Running by Landon Miller, or of Running by Landon Miller. Whether or not there'll be a second episode, I can't promise anything. But I do tell you this: I love running, and I freaking love my team, and those are two of the things that I love to talk about. So there's a good chance there could be an episode 2. If you got anything you want to hear me talk about, maybe you hit that subscribe button and let me know what you want to hear from me in the comments. This should be on Spotify and YouTube. I don't know if I can get on Apple. I'll see if I can. But if you made it all the way through, thanks for listening. I know that was kind of just jumbled here and there. That's just how my mind is. I see a bunny trail and I hop on it and I talk about it, and then I kind of try to relay that back into the whole message, and whether or not that makes sense, who knows. To me it made sense. If it doesn't to you, probably just ask me what I was trying to say, and I can hopefully maybe explain it to you a little better, but you never know. But if you made it all the way through, thank you so much for listening. You're a real one, and you know, I'm just looking forward to see what's going to come in the future, and like just what's going to happen in the situation, how I'm going to be able to grow, and for sure just going to keep running. And thank you very much for listening. We will maybe see you again.